just going to pass this around. If you look in here, there's a little block of sugar. Okay? That entrance is blocked off with a cord. So what you do is, I usually like to hang this inside the hive. Okay? Or you can take it and set it between two bars in the hive. And you take the cork out, and normally what I do is like a hole in there, in the sugar, to get the bees started to release the queen. It takes about a day or so. It depends on how bad they want the queen out. But normally I go back in 2 days and I check to make sure she's out. If she's not out, then I release her. Because then they have recognized her scent as the queen for the hive. Okay, so you can pass that around and look at it. This is one that's already, everything was eaten out. This is Clark Porter. She's also a fellow beekeeper. Well, I'll tell you what, how about if I show you the video first, and hope everybody's seen that or not. Okay? I'll show you the video, what we did, and what we found inside the wall.
How long ago was that again?
It was back in June 3rd and 4th.
Okay. So video process.
Yes.
Did they ever kill the queen?
Pardon me?
Did they ever kill the queen in the hive if they didn't like her?
Yes.
Try to warm up. Sometimes they have to warm up.
I turned it off to spare. It's a light.
I don't remember how many years I've been away from it for a while. I just got back this year.
Yeah, we've been helping each other out. She needs a hand, she calls me, and I get out and do what I can. Okay, here's the video. My brother actually shot this video with my little camera. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Strip was taken off of there. That was just covering the softening. As the farther we got along,
That took
the more they
courage.
got upset.
That took courage and determination.
I will say one thing about Paul. Paul was pretty good. I really thought he was going to be afraid of all the bees that were there.
Amazing.
He did good. There he's opening the wall up with one of those vibrator tools. They didn't like that at all. There you see, he's just trying to get the tar paper off the outside of the room. And the more he hammered, the more bees came out. We thought it was going to be easy. We thought it was just going to be boards on the outside. It actually turned out to be common roof boards. So it made it a little harder to get the first board out once we got going. It was all right. And I just couldn't keep up with the bees as they were coming out. I just couldn't vacuum them up fast enough.
Oh, really?
And as you can see, the more we took out, the more they got upset.
How big is the bag that you're putting in there?
It's actually a piece of sonotube. I don't know if anybody knows what sonotube is. Sonotube is just a big cardboard tube that they use for pouring concrete forms.
Oh, yeah?
So I actually had a 12-inch and an 8-inch inside of it that the bees actually collected in the 8-inch tube. And we tried smoking them. It didn't do anything. They were just so upset. I was just trying to keep them off the back wall because they were just flying all around us, as you can see.
Did you try singing to them?
That probably would have been bad. Try talking to them. We got them on video.
Did you feel that they went soup? Like with all those bees, did you feel any?
I got stung for my suit. Yeah, I got stung about 14 times. I got stung on my ankle too. My whole ankle was swollen. I got stung like 7 or 8 times below just here because my gloves came up and they kept sliding down. And as soon as one stings you, they leave a pheromone behind it. And that attracts the rest of the bees.
So they're mad because, are they protecting the queen?
They're trying to protect the hive. They feel they're in danger. And they were in danger. They're coming in to rob their, coming in to steal. That's basically what it is. Just like somebody's trying to break into your house. You're going to defend the house. And then you see all the bees flying around.
I can't believe it. Just didn't give up.
I'm the guy with the smoker, as you can see.
How you kept that going?
That was the first board we took off. We were looking to see if the queen was on there. We wanted to make sure she wasn't. She wasn't. Normally the smoke makes them calm down. Okay.
And to keep that smoker going so well, that is amazing.
So how much honey was accumulated? Was still honey?
How much was there or how much did they get out?
Well, was
There's more there. I couldn't get it.
Look at this.
I took out 41 pounds.
How many?
41 pounds.
41 pounds.
Yeah, and most of that was up here at the top. You can see on the left-hand side, that's all honey. All the stuff on the right side is brood, which means it's baby bees. Means they have a little bit or not. That's what I found the next day when I came back.
So they kept coming out then?
Actually, what I think happened is they were behind the chimney and the other side of the chimney, and when I exposed the hive, they came back that night to cover up the brood that was left. See, the brood has to stay warm. They have to stay up in a 90-degree temperature in order for it to survive. And if it gets too cold, it'll kill it. Okay?
How did it survive such bad weather that we were having?
All the heat from inside the building.
Oh.
Between the heat inside the building and the hive itself, I actually had, I don't know if anybody knows Mark Bowers from the South Ward. Okay? I'm sure you know. He is a fire chief at the South Ward Fire Company, and he actually brought down his thermal imaging camera and put it on the side of the building, and that whole area above the window just showed red hot.
No.
Yeah.
That's how you located exactly.
That's how originally, that's how we decided where to
Where
start.
to start, yeah.
Because I said to them, I said, if that's that warm there, that's a concentration of bees.
How did you discover that there was a hive there? Who discovered it?
Why don't you ask the lady behind you?
Don't ask me that either. I don't know.
No, not you.
You found it.
Yeah.
Let's say from the time that the art center started, there would be right around this window here a few bees, like in the spring and in the fall. They would come in, they would gather around the window, and then they would die on the floor. So we just let them go. But this past spring, they started coming in by the hundreds inside the building, and they were just everywhere. They were down here, they were upstairs, and then we knew we had to do something. So then I contacted Bob and said, "Can you help us get them out?" Because once they started to become more of a danger to the people inside the building, we knew that for their safety, we had to have them extracted.
And see, I was actually going to bring an actual, what they call observation hive in, but I thought better of it because of people that might have allergies.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't want to take responsibility. So, if you just want to, you can take this hive apart. I'll show you the parts of a hive. Some people don't know how hives put together. Okay, the first thing you're going to have is the lid, which is called the top cover. Okay, and all that is a wooden cover with aluminum on the outside to make it waterproof. You don't have to use aluminum, you can use steel, you can use rubber. It doesn't matter. As long as it keeps the water out of the hive. The next thing you're going to find is what they call an inner cover. And that's basically what it is. It covers the inside of the hive. Keep them a little bit protected. Normally what I do is I'll cut a slot. This one doesn't have it. I'll cut a slot here. And that gives them actually another entrance to come in and out of the hive. If you're a bee and you're bringing honey and nectar and pollen back into your hive, you don't want to come through here, come all the way up through these boxes, do you? It just makes it easier. Then you come in, go right in to the top, deposit their honey and their pollen, or nectar in their pollen, and then go back out the same way. It actually makes it easier for bees. There's a couple different types. That's what a frame looks like. There's spider webs in there. In fact, there's probably a bee. Just can come in if you want. This is actually what a frame looks like without the innards. Okay? There's a couple different types of frames you can buy. You can buy wax or plastic frames. And normally what they do is they'll actually put wax on this to encourage the bees to build it out, right? I don't like that. I go with natural wax, and they call it waxed wire foundation. As you can see, there's little wires in it. This makes it stronger because it's actually, you see this little strip here that's stapled on top. Okay, you actually cut that off, and that actually has a little lip on it like that, a little L shape. That goes behind there and helps hold it in. And there's a slot in the bottom, as you can see. There's a slot in the bottom that the honeycomb goes into. Okay? And then the bees just build that out. Now that's what we start off as. Okay? When the bees start building it out, this is what you have. They build it out on both sides, as you can see. And that's how they store their honey, and that's how they raise their bees.
And they seal the honey once they
Right.
put it in.
That's actually sealed honey on there.
So they put wax over it.
Okay.
So that holds it into the plant.
Any questions so far?
That plate right there, that frame, when you scrape that away, will you be left with none of that membrane, that initial?
This, you mean when you harvest the honey?
Yes.
The only thing you're going to harvest is you're going to take, you see how it's capped?
Yes.
Okay? All you're going to do is remove the cappings.
Okay. So
Okay.
you will have that base then?
You're still going to have this is still going to be there. Okay? All you're going to do is open up those cells. You can do that one of two ways. You can use what we call a hot knife. It's an electric knife that gets hot. Or if you look over there, there's a little yellow roller that has spikes on it. You can roll that over. And all that does is open up the cells. And that lets the honey flow out when you extract it. Okay? That's the top box. This is where your honey would be stored. So that would be called the honey sewer. All right? This is a queen excluder. Why is it called a queen excluder? It keeps the queen in the bottom in the brood chambers. Right? Some beekeepers don't use these. Personally, I don't like brood up with my honey when I go to extract it. Some beekeepers will take and just put an entrance in there that the bees, it's a one-way entrance that once the bees go down through it, they're done. They can't get back up. Others actually will take the queen and force her down below, and that way it cuts her off so she can't lay any brood up there. And again, once all the brood is done, they'll take and harvest the honey. Again, this is another type of plastic frames.
What's brood?
Brood is baby bees.
Baby, okay, that's what I thought.
Anytime you hear somebody say brood, basically what that is, it's just like, if you have kids, what do you have? Some people say, yeah, I have brood kids. Oh, they're babies. Okay. Now you get down to the heart of the hive. This would actually be a brood chamber, but this is also a brood chamber. There's three different types of boxes that you can use for breeding. This is what they call a large super or a brood chamber. Okay?
Or a deep super.
Or a deep super. This is a medium super, and you can see there's a difference. And as I just showed this lady here a little while ago, if you look at these, and that's what this is a frame extractor. Makes it easier to hold the frame. This is actually all honey. I'll let that sit there. Okay? for somebody that's, I don't want to say gender-wise, but somebody that's small frame, okay, you don't want to use that kind of frame or that kind of box. Because ask her, it's heavy. That weighs anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds. If you're a little like Barb, you don't want to handle that. Okay? You want to go back to having something that's lighter. So they actually make another box. It's actually about that big. I didn't bring any of those with me because I don't have any put together. But they call it a small honey soup. Okay? So anybody that's actually going to get into raising bees, I would recommend going to a small soup. Because even for me, that's getting to be heavy.
So do you choose the size not only because of the weight, but like the size of your bees, like the number?
Now, basically what it is you put on what you feel comfortable working with. Okay? I just started off using medium supers. I'm kind of 25. Okay, I'm not getting there. Right? Now, when you get down to the deep box, or the brood chamber, this is where all the neat stuff goes on. Okay, this is where your queen's going to be. This is where all your brood, your baby bees are going to be. And instead of me bringing in a hive here and show you what it looks like, I got these. This is something that gives you an idea. They're actually pictures of what goes on inside a hive. Okay. Now, if you notice, this is queen. When you get a virgin queen and she needs to be bred, she has to fly in order to get bred. Okay? And this is, however this person did this is fantastic. This is a queen actually getting bred in flight. Now, she will breed with up to 14 or more drones. Okay? A drone is a male. Does anybody else know, besides Barb, does anybody know what the sex of the rest of the bees in the hive are? Pardon me?
They don't have.
They're all females.
They're all.
Are they females?
Yes. All your worker bees are females. Your queen is a female. Okay? The only other males that you have are the drones. Right? What does a drone do? He breeds with the queen. That's it. He's like a lazy husband. He sits on the couch and says to me, honey, bring me a beer, I'm watching TV. Okay? It's basically what these drones do. But guess what? They get back in. They don't contribute to the hive. They eat, they sleep, they do what guys do. Okay? Now, guess what? Comes fall and it starts getting cold. Their butt's kicked out. They're done. They are kicked out of the hive and they die. When they breed with the queen, they die. It's not fun being a drone. Okay? I don't want to be a drone. Okay?
Bob, can I ask you something? If these are all females, or the males go, the drones go off and die, where do the males come from then for the next generation?
Good question. What happens is they have to keep so many drones or so many males in a hive. So they will actually make what they call drone comb. Okay? When you see a beehive, you open it up and you look at the frames. Let's see if I can find a picture of it.
They cage him up inside
There's one in here. Well, here, this will give you a general idea. If you see these little white cells in here, and over on this picture, if you can look, I actually have a picture over here. You can come up. This is an interactive class. You guys don't have to sit down, okay? If you actually look, you see on these frames here, you see how everything's pretty much a uniform, okay? That's all the worker bee from it, okay? But if you look, like here's a drone right here. You see how big he is compared to the rest of the bees? This is the regular honeybee. You see how big he is compared to the rest of the bees? Now, if you look right here, see this little line right here? It looks higher than the rest of the hive. That's drone. They actually are a bigger bee. They're not as big as a queen, but it's a bigger bee. So they need a bigger home to sleep in when you're being raised. Okay? So that's what happens. All the stuff on the outside that's white, that's all honey that's capped, that's ready to be harvested. They're actually storing that for winter. or storing it for their baby bees that they're raising, because that's what they feed baby bees, they feed them honey. Okay? People say to me, well, what do bees eat? What do you think? They eat the honey. Why else would they make it? Okay?
They made it for us.
So, well, you're only harvesting what's left, what they don't eat. Okay? And he is right. Bees will collect more than they'll ever use in the hive. So the only thing you're harvesting is in excess honey.
How often do you harvest?
Normally once a year, and that's in the fall. Because, remember what I said what bees eat? They have to have enough food to last through the winter. If they don't have enough food, they starve to death. And bees are funny. You can have 200 pounds of honey in the bottom of a hive. Bees work up. If there's no honey on the top and that 200 pounds of honey is down below, they'll actually starve to death.
Wow.
So you have to harvest the hive.
Harvest the honey.
Yeah, harvest the honey. So if they die, because there's,
Too much? No, they'll store it for the next year.
then they'll be leaving, they won't come out.
No, they still will. And then that's when we have a problem with swarming, because they have no place else to go.
So that's what happened here, it wasn't being harvested, so it kept.
No, there's still more honey up there. Trust me, I know for a fact. I've seen it. It's behind the chimney.
Oh, so
And I would not be, and I don't want to break Leona's bubble, but I would not be surprised if the bees come back.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I bet
Okay.
they do.
Because they will smell the scent of the wax and honey, and that will actually is like a magnet, a raw magnet.
How old do you think that was?
I would say it was probably at least 6 years old. For the amount of stuff that they had in there, they were there for a long time. That honeycomb that I took out of there for raising the bees, it was almost like leather. That's what I think it was. It was just, I mean, when you look at the stuff that's in there, it's kind of pliable, because it's soft. That stuff was, I actually had a hard time cutting it. Okay?
Wow.
Again, you can see on this hive, here like this. If you notice down here at this picture down here, this actually is in underneath my deck at home. I live on Main Street, okay? And I was storing my empty supers that had built out honeycomb and stuff like that at my house. And I had all the boxes sealed up so I would attract attention. Guess what? This box here actually had a hole in it that I didn't know. Because one day I was putting a small hole with my knife, and all it was, it wasn't even as big as my finger. A bee only needs 3/8 of an inch of a hole to establish a place to stay. Okay? Well, needless to say, I was working on my side porch, I was redoing it, and I had all my equipment in the back of my car, in my back of my truck, and I'm ready to go on a moment's notice, and somebody calls me, hey, I have a swarm, or I have an issue with bees, can you come and get them? And I just take my truck, go, get the bees, and I leave, right? Well, like I said, I had all this stuff in the back of my truck. I unloaded all the stuff because I had to go down to the transfer station. So I emptied my truck and I set everything on the sidewalk. So I'm in and out, I'm gutting the interior of the porch, and I turn around and go outside and look, and all of a sudden, all my equipment's in the yard. I didn't put that there. So I said to my wife, I said, why did you move my stuff? I said, now it's going to have to walk farther to put the stuff in. She said, well, it was attracting bees. There must be 200 bees out there flying around. She said, I don't know when it gets done. Okay, no problem. So, needless to say, I got done for the day, took my run to the transfer station, got my supplies, I came back, went to put my stuff back in the truck. There was 200 bees in my hive, in that little box that I had. Okay? Okay, I waited until it was dark, took that box, put it back in. Monday morning, this was Saturday, okay? Sunday morning, I'm working on my porch. Monday morning, I got a phone call from work. We were kind of slow, and they said, hey, would you like to week off? Hey, yeah, I'm working on my porch. Okay, you're off the rest of the week. So I grab a drink, and I go out on my porch, and next thing you know, I see all these bees flying around above my deck. And they're going down underneath my deck. And I'm looking at them, what in the world? I realized right away it was a swarm. So I called my wife, hey, we got a swarm coming. Well, she runs out of the car, or runs in to get her suit. I run out, I grab the stuff I had in the back of the truck, and I come back and I'm looking, I thought, where the world are they going? I had all these boxes stacked up on top of that single box, okay? I look, they're going over and they're landing there. I thought, oh, no. I walk over, then I see the little hole. Oh, great. They're deciding to take up residence in that box that was open. So needless to say, I had no food in there. All it was built up honeycomb. So I went over, I took the boxes off, okay? And I have another picture somewhere on my camera that I'm actually standing there just the way you see me, with shorts, t-shirt, and a pair of shoes like this. And I go over and I start taking this stuff and moving it around, and I start pulling frames out and putting frames of honey that I have in that box in the back of my truck in there, so they have something to eat. And they're just flying around and doing their big things. Well, till I was done, I had a couple thousand bees actually come to my house and move in. Needless to say, that's not good for the neighbors if they're allergic to bees. So I packed them up that night once it got dark. Because once it gets dark, it's like you, everybody wants to go back home. So that's what they do. Everybody went back in. I put a cover on it, put a base on it, sealed it all up, and I moved it out to my bee yard. I don't know if anybody's familiar with farm records in the town over here by the train station, Farm Lighting, or Lighting, like Farms.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where my bees are at. They're on their farm. Okay. And that's when these pictures are taken. Right now I have 9, but I take care of 10. Because I have a friend that has one.
Good problems with bear.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Knock on
question.
wood.
Oh, yeah.
Knock on wood.
I think that'd be a
do.
good question, yeah.
There is a guy here that lives up on Lake Street, Mike King. I don't know if you know him. He used to be a mailman.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I was coming home one day from checking my hives, and I was coming into town, and I was back by Bee's Dairy, coming towards the Wildcat intersection. And lo and behold, I looked at the field and I see this big bear. And when I say big, I mean big. He was over 500 pounds. And that was this spring. And I found out through the grapevine that he actually tore my canes beehives apart. Because his sister has them out there in the valley.
It's not too far from where yours were either.
It's about a mile and a half or 2 miles away.
They travel.
Okay. Well, needless to say, the day I was coming by, I was actually seeing a game warden talking to some guy that lived out there. So I guess they knew that this bear was there and it was causing problems. And I learned through grapevine later on that he was trapped and moved.
Okay.
But it didn't do any good because there's like 5 more bears out there. He's activation. But he is at the base of the mountain. Mine are down in the fields. They have seen bears out there.
Yeah.
I've been lucky so far.
Yeah.
That nothing, yeah. And she actually has a different type of beehive. There's 2 types of beehives that you can actually raise bees in. There's a Langstroth hive, is what I'm using, okay? And that's where you stack the bee boxes up, okay? But they also make what they call a top bar hive. And this year she started something different. A top bar hive is designed, it looks like a horse. It'll have 4 legs on it, cross legs like this. You have a picture of the bar. But it's long. And what they do is, it's more natural for the bees to support their hive doing that way, because what they'll do is, instead of having to go up, which is unnatural for a beehive, how they do it out here? They expand it out. And that's what this allows them to do. Actually, the beehive's frame is actually a frame like this.
That has to lift off of it. And see how they build their own comb.
See the honeycomb?
You don't put the plastic, you don't put the
Right.
comb in. They build it themselves.
All you do is put a stick in there, what's they call a bar, top
Yeah.
bar. You put the stick in there, put a little wax on it, and they actually build that out. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I did it because I gave up beekeeping. I just was having a problem with making it through winter and stuff, and it's so heavy.
Right.
So my husband saw this, and it has a teak roof pipe. It's a big disadvantage. It's extremely heavy
Well,
to get that roof
you
on.
can make that later.
Yeah.
There's an
I
easy
think
way.
he's gonna
But that is something that we started.
He helped me.
I actually put her bees in for her.
Yeah.
Okay. We actually put
He's
them in
my
the hive.
husband.
And we got them established.
Yeah.
We're doing good. She was afraid she lost the queen, but she did find it.
I didn't find the queen, but
She's laying brood.
she's laying brood, and I'm telling you, these bees are so calm. They're the calmest bees I've ever had.
That's good.
I don't feel like I need to wear a bee suit.
Some people don't. And you'll see guys that are walk
They are
past you are dressed just about it. And
Yeah.
they'll be working on their beehives. Not a problem. These bees out here, when I go to check on them, I have to have my full, I wish I had suit armor. Because they are just so aggressive. My wife said I should put them down. I said, no, I said, they're very good at doing what they do. They're doing their bee stuff. Just let them go. Okay? So, I don't like that. And that's the reason why I took them to safety. Right?
What makes them have a different person, or is it like, is it a
It's the queen.
specific?
It's
Just
the queen, yeah. If I would take and change the queen in half, what would happen, it would change the genetics of that bee hive. And the queen I would buy would come from another beekeeper. These guys just aren't used to being worked with. They've been wild. They might start off as wild. Okay? And this hive out here might have been a hive that came from out there at Nestor's. I don't know. That's what this picture's taken. Nestor's had an issue out there. I don't know if you know the guy that runs Nestor's. He's actually allergic to bees.
Oh.
And what happened was a fellow was running the garage off and he beat their phone. And through the grapevine, somehow they got my phone number through Allstate. They called up and said, we're looking for somebody to review bees.